Hello. Uh, don't mind the background footage. I just kind of need something to talk over because I still haven't put myself in front of a camera yet. Okay, so I've been gone for a while. I'm sure that's if you're watching this, you've probably picked up on that by now. But I do actually have my reasons, and this more or less will be serving as the my excuse listing for why I've been gone for roughly 2 months. So for starters, I am sorry. I did intend to keep working on projects and stuff. Uh, but we'll get to that. All right. So originally, I was intending to have a sort of end cap video for the Spyro series. That was, the big thing that I had for a while. Um, so that required me to, well, didn't require me, but for that, I was intending to have a guest on. Uh, but because of poor scheduling on my part, uh, where we would have likely recorded that in December, they won't be back around until March. So that has a little bit of time to it. Um, see, other than that, that's gonna be a while. So I was like, okay, I wanted to work on some scripting uh, and stuff for some other video projects in the meantime. Uh, so in connection with that, I wanted to do a video talking about my favorite movies that I saw in the last year. So because I enjoy watching a lot of movies, and I do kind of want to somehow bring that into this channel at some point for anybody who's interested. I don't have like a strict boundary, I guess I set for like the type of content that I'm making. So I think that should hopefully make it less jarring if I kind of encompass a couple of different of uh of like styles of content. So in connection to that, yeah, I was working on a my favorite movies of the last year type thing. And that was one that was being scripted, and the script was very fun. I was having a lot of fun typing that up. Um, but truth be told, as of right now, I don't really have experience with that type of scripted content. So a lot of it was kind of like finding my writing style. And it's also just, I'll admit, laziness is kind of a part of it because well, it becomes a little daunting to to actually like sit down and write, and then like from there sit down and record, and then you have to get a lot of footage to match up with it. Uh, but like that's a project that I still might try to follow through with, even though it's a little late. Some things have a bit of an expiration date on how much anybody would be interested in them, like at all. And that was already a project that was going to be late as is, given that it's like 2022 movies, but uh it was going to come out in like January probably at the earliest. um so oops on my part. uh while in the meantime, I did have other script stuff that I was trying to work towards, but that was the big one I had. And now here's where things actually kind of ran into some legitimate issues. Is my computer up and died on me, and given that this sort of is like the most important piece to recording anything, given that all of my stuff is run through a capture card to this PC, uh, so like the PlayStation 1 and then any other consoles like Nintendo Switch, which I'm likely to be doing next. And then, you know, OBS. I had to... All my recording stuff is on here. So, okay. What happened is, you know, computer just kind of up and died. I didn't have this thing for like, I want to say like 2 or 3 weeks. Because I had to take it to Best Buy after getting it fixed. You know, Geek Squad, they patched it all up. You know, my thanks. But in order to do that, we needed a reset. So that means a lot of stuff is gone. A lot of stuff we were able to back up before we actually did that, so that's good. But you know, not everything could be saved. And then when it comes to things like programs, I had to reinstall a bunch of those. So we have OBS reinstalled now, as well as you know, I had to reinstall everything that like is kind of like the basics for a computer in my possession. So like, okay, go install Chrome, go install Discord, go install Steam, all these things, and go install you know, Elgato Capture, and then all of these things. So you know, you get kind of cozy when you have everything already set up in a way that's like consistent, where you can just kind of like launch a software and then press the record button. But then when you have to like reconfigure everything for your settings from scratch, even setting up a recording for something like today, there's you know, there's a number of outtakes just from me checking audio balancing and stuff. And you know, I'm sorry that this is kind of like unedited, unfiltered, off the cuff, because you know, you're going to be hearing a lot of ums and yas and stuff like that. So you have my apologies, because this is not really a fun type of video to watch. I feel like, you know, even if nobody really ends up watching it, I consciously would feel better to have something like this up on the channel, so that anybody looking at it would be like, wait, why is there just such a gap in the upload schedule, stuff like that. But now that we got it all you know, back up and running, I still have to do a little configuring with the Nintendo Switch for the capture card, because you know, not having the settings and stuff saved for that means I'll have to do a little bit of tweaking. So, and straight up, like, you know, this is gonna get a lot into kind of like, oh, woe is me stuff. If you're watching this, I do appreciate it, because this likely isn't even entertaining compared to anything else I would do. But it's like, you know, when you're kind of like down like that, and it's hard to just kind of pick yourself back up to, you know, in terms of motivation and you know, inspiration and stuff like that. And you know, I'm not trying to make it out to be like, oh, like, you know, doing this is so hard. It's like I legitimately enjoy making videos and stuff. Unfortunately, I'm still new to it, so I don't have you know, that full like the proper experience. I don't have the necessary skills to you know, be able to figure things out on my own. Keep in mind that like when I'm doing a lot of these things, I have to look up how to do things quite often. So even other series I was planning on starting, I wanted to do a series on the RPG Maker game Off, because I know that's a really popular one, and I do really enjoy RPG Maker games. And then, like, you know, it's like OBS has like a specific thing with RPG Maker games where it's like difficult to make it run properly, or to have it show up in the recording software. You run into a lot of silly errors like that, and if you're like me, where you're not very good with computers to begin with, because I mean, I had to take this thing to get fixed, you're probably not really gonna know how to fix something like that without looking it up. And then even when you find what might be a potential solution, and then like that doesn't work, and then you're just like, oh, well, now what? So, long story short, I'm dumb, I'm lazy, I am not very good at this kind of stuff. But uh, if you're seeing this, then that means good news. We're getting right back to it. Uh, I'm probably gonna try to record a first part for something today. The nice thing is that I've had a little bit of time to, plan out some ideas for series and stuff that I wanted to do, and I know, the kind of unfiltered, unedited type of content I did with Spyro, maybe not be the most interesting, and I'm hoping to, learn a bit more how to use software in the meantime. The editing software that I have, that I had, now that I have to reinstall, is called Shotcut, and it's actually kind of cool. I did have an old, like, video file that I used to just mess around and edit with of, some friends and I playing Minecraft. I used to use that as kind of like practice. That video file's gone now, I'm realizing, so that's probably never gonna see the light of day. Uh, but that's like a 4-year-old gameplay session, so that's not anything interesting. Uh, but yeah, I mean, hopefully, I can kind of learn how to use these things a bit more, put a bit more effort into it. Because I mean, you know, it's not the most high-tech, advanced type of content you'll see. But for anybody who does stick around to see me do stupid crap like that, I do sincerely appreciate it. So, okay, now I want to talk a little bit about what I'm planning. And not in like an evil way, but but all right. So I got a couple things I'm working with as I sit here and die. So, okay, couple series that I wanted to start. And if you have any particular input as to which one you want to see, uh, please let me know. So, a couple games in the run up. We have Off RPG Maker game. I believe that's a 6-hour, 7-hour game. Uh, so that one would probably be relatively short. It is a little bit of a pain to get that one, up and running for OBS. But I know that's one that is very very well regarded for its time, and even nowadays. And given my my interest in that kind of genre, I definitely think I would enjoy it. So other than that, why am I shooting? Spyro, I don't think I'm gonna have that edited video out for a while, so I do still want to do that, but it will be sometime. So, you might think like, oh, is he gonna do Spyro 2 or something? I'll be honest, I don't really have an interest in 2 or 3, at least not as of right now. And I also think that, if I'm playing a game on the channel, I don't want to just like binge a whole series or a franchise or something like that. Because I want to provide, at least a little bit of variety. And, if I'm able to get into recording stuff more often, then it'll be like, oh, well, even if it's a series that somebody's not super interested in, they can, like, hopefully soon thereafter will be the another series or a different game. So think of it like this: if I were to play through something like Spyro, I would want like to go first game and then a different game and then second game, different game, alternating like that. So because of that, I will mention that there is a series that I do want to play. And this is where I have a little bit of difficulty deciding where to start with this one. Because I would like to play Metroid Dread. I got it as a gift, and that game looks really fun. I'm not super familiar with Metroidvanias. I'm not good with them. Hollow Knight is more or less my my intro to that genre. But Metroid Dread looks like a lot of fun, and I know Uh, Super Metroid is generally seen as probably the best one in that series, or at least like the most popular one. So I might at the very least do Super Metroid and then Metroid Dread. I know that Zero Mission exists, and then there's the original NES version on Nintendo Switch Online of the original Metroid. But if I'm being honest, I don't think that would be a lot of fun to watch. And I don't mean to disrespect the roots of a game series, but it looks pretty rough. I've played it a little bit on and off. I was never able to really get into that one. Somehow I was able to get into like the original Legend of Zelda NES game, but even that, like, trying to approach that nowadays is difficult if you don't have the time to just sink into it. Uh, or if you don't have a guide. And I'll be honest, I don't, for a game that's not meant to be played with a guide, I don't think, I would not find it very fun to play, a game like Metroid or the original Legend of Zelda while just sitting there looking up, like, where do I go next? And, so that's kind of why I think, if anything, I would start with Super Metroid. So, uh, the third big contender, as of right now, is the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. And I think this might be the one I'm sticking with, because you may not know it, but I really do enjoy Zelda games. I have not played enough of them, though. That's the thing. I can call myself a Zelda fan, but I've not played Ocarina, Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess, Minish Cap, Link's Awakening. I've played. All right, it's probably easier to list the ones that I have played, because I've played the original Zelda. I've played a decent chunk of Link to the Past, Link Between Worlds, Majora's Mask remake. Played a little bit of Twilight Princess, not much. Wind Waker is probably my favorite. I played HD years and years ago on the Wii U. That was more or less what got me super into the series. As super into it as you can call this. Because fake fan or whatever. But like, hey, from what I have played, I do really enjoy it. So, what I'm intending with Skyward Sword is, you might think, like, why that one? Well, I haven't played that. It's more or less the most, like, recent one before Breath of the Wild. Which means that, like, it's kind of like well established formula at that point. Keep in mind, I do think it would be fun to tackle some of the other games, especially Ocarina of Time. But as we stand right now, I don't know. So part of the reason I'm starting with Skyward Sword, I think, as well, is because it's, like, I guess, the first in the timeline. Which, I don't know if it's something that I would, cover every game in the series in, like, a chronological order, because that is a lot, and a lot of those might be hard to get a hold of. I definitely don't think I would do anything like the Four Swords games. Just because they're not really, like, so much in the traditional Zelda style. Alright, so I'm definitely rambling. If you're still here, I am very sorry. Skyward Sword HD for Nintendo Switch. That looks like fun. I think we're gonna do that one. Either way, you'll probably know, within a day or two of this video going up, because I want to try to get that recording started. So, yeah, also, okay, yeah, big reason, because I'm a dummy, is Tears of the Kingdom looks awesome. I'm really excited for that game. And I intend to maybe play a little bit of catch up with that series. So, Uh, I guess that about wraps it up here. I'm very sorry that there's no no consistent quality to this video, but everything is kind of growing pains with this channel at the moment. And I don't mean that in the way that, like, I have to, work on YouTube videos. I guess I just mean it in the sense that, like, I don't know what I'm doing. And anybody who's here along for the ride, I thank you and I appreciate it very much. Very, very much. So, if you got suggestions or anything, please let me know. Uh, in the meantime, I hope to see you with a new upload soon. Thank you for tuning in. And let's we'll figure this out.